New springs are appearing, and existing springs and wells are now producing more water. The water systems serve nearly 100% of the population and have transformed community life. Water is not only available for basic survival, but for washing and bathing as well. Water is now conveniently available for livestock and irrigation of backyard gardens. Women report that having clean water sources closer to home allows more time to take better care of their families and households. It provides an opportunity to start businesses and participate in other income-generating activities. It also gives girls the chance to attend school and to study.
Now we can care for our children, clean our house and compounds. We can go to prayer and can do our washing before prayer. And the water is fantastic. We even planted different trees and the land seems just like heaven. Now, after the water project has been constructed, all the burden of collecting water has been simplified. Now, we don't have to burden our children to collect water.
Improved sanitation was another important achievement of the project. In Legadini, before the project, toilets were non-existent. Now, nearly half of all households have either conventional or ecological toilets. Families have been taught how to separate their living space between themselves and their animals, to build storage shelves from local materials to keep food off the floor, and to use fuel-efficient stoves. These stoves use half the firewood of traditional stoves. They not only save women up to 2 hours a day they would spend collecting wood, but also conserves valuable trees in the watershed. The vast majority of respondents to household surveys reported major improvements in their health and that of their children, which they attributed to improved water, sanitation, and hygiene.
This was my old house. In this house, I used to live with my wife, children, chickens, goats, and sheep. We all lived together and we suffered from diseases and illness. Since CRS came and taught us about hygiene and sanitation, partitioning the house, our health has greatly improved. Now we no longer live with animals.
Through the formation of cooperatives and training, women have learned how to secure their own incomes. They are no longer fully financially dependent on their husbands and can contribute to the creation of household assets. This in turn has empowered the women of Legadini and provided additional income, which in many cases is being used to send children to school. Female-headed households and landless households still need special attention. The establishment of savings and internal lending communities called SILK has also been another empowering force for women in all projects. In Legadini, SILK has increased available cash to members through interest earned on savings, provided credit for women to open their own businesses, and to purchase livestock for fattening. SILK has also provided an opportunity for social networking and a source of emergency funding for families in need.
The reason I built this shop is because I didn't have a husband or anyone to support me. So I decided to bring some goods from town to sell in the shop so that I could make some money to support my children. Members of the Silk group lend credit and are involved in different business activities. I took credit from the group and bought some different commodities to sell. I was able to buy sugar with the credit. Before I got to the credit, the shop had only limited goods. My family is benefiting a lot from the credit I was able to borrow.
The full participation of beneficiaries in the planning and management of project activities is crucial to the project's longevity. Therefore, men and women are organized into management committees for water systems, irrigation, and natural resource management activities. The evaluation found that these committees were active and effectively managing the projects on their own.
The way we are established into milk groups is each of the group members brings her own share of milk and we combine them. Through this, we are generating our own income. We are no longer forced to go to the men's pockets for money. Before we established the groups to sell milk, we were dependent on our husbands. Since we've started selling the milk, we are satisfying our own economic and social needs. Before, my husband was responsible for buying our clothes and shoes, and now I'm supporting him and meeting part of our needs. We are in a much better situation by having an income.
Legadini was the poorest of the 3 watersheds studied, but had the most dramatic increase in food security. The lesson is obvious. Target the poorest of the poor to achieve the most dramatic results. The good news is that CRS's programs are working, and they're making a big difference in people's lives. Through evaluations of each project, CRS is learning what works best and how programs can do better in the future. As we've seen in Legadini, CRS has given people new tools, knowledge, capacities, and hope to address these challenges. The groundwater continues to be available and springs still flow even in the midst of drought, supplying them with the fundamental ingredient for their future prosperity, water. For water is life.